Devil, I'm the D-E, I'm the D-E-V-I, I'm the D-E, I'm the D-E-V-I, I'm the D-E, I'm the D-E-V, I'm the D-E-V-I-L. I'm the D-E, I'm the D-E-V-I, I'm the D-E, I'm the D-E-V-I, I'm the D-E, I'm the D-E-V, I'm the D-E-V-I-L, the devil.
Oh, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Final Word with MattyB here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. With your boy MattyB on the call on this beautiful Wednesday evening, March the 12th, 2025. And you have arrived at the final destination of your sports day. That's right. Everybody gets off on this stop. There is no transfers, and nobody can move on. The bus is now out of service, and it's great to be back on our Wednesday edition. Tomorrow we'll wrap the week. This is our first time we've done a full week. I imagine we're going to do a show tomorrow. I don't have anything right now that's going to dictate that I'm not going to be here, but if I am here tomorrow, it'll be the first full week show. We've done it quite a bit due to some outside stuff that was going on, trip to Alabama and other things that have taken precedent. But this will be the first full week we've probably done in a minute, and it's great. Great to kind of get back into the swing of things here on the program. And tonight, as we could see by the title of the show and the pretty little graphic there, I am on a recruiting mission. That's right. I've decided to no longer fight the power. I've decided to come over and join the cult with the rest of you. So tonight, along with my friend Howie Roseman and our very, very good friend, the Reverend Jim Jones, we are here enlisting your help to join the Homer cult. Because it's funny. Yes, last night I went on about an hour rant about this and about how the criticism that's been aimed at Howie Roseman. And by the way, the Eagles did make a move today, and we'll get to it. Actually, they made two moves. We'll get to that. But the criticism aimed at Howie Roseman for in Howie we trust, and don't worry, you don't need to get all upset. Things are going to be great. I thought it was definitely sort of cultistic type of behavior from the Homers, who represented a bigger portion of the fan base than I thought. And that's what's scary too, is every day I'm finding out these numbers are different and bigger. And so I decided, you know what? I'm not fighting anymore. I'm coming over. So tonight, with the help of Howie Roseman and Jim Jones, I am going to try to recruit for the Homer cult. So we'll do that tonight. We'll also talk about some of the Eagle moves that were made. The Eagles finally went outside the organization and signed a player. We'll talk about that. They signed an internal piece as well. We'll talk about that. Flyers now lost 5 in a row. Maybe we'll get into some of that and discuss the ramifications of a 5-game losing streak with about 17, 18 games left to go in the season, which doesn't seem to be that great. Actually, it seems to be good because all season long, the Flyers have done something. So over the last 3 or 5 seasons for the Flyers, they've always had that 10, 12 game losing streak kind of mixed into their season. They haven't had one of those in a minute. I don't think they had one last year, and they haven't had one up to this point this year. But it looks like we're trending towards that 10-game losing streak right now because the schedule for the Flyers over the next week and a few days is not going to be easy. You have all playoff teams essentially that you're going to be playing, and everyone's going to be wanting to push for those 2 points. I don't know if the Flyers, I don't honestly know. I mean, there's a couple of games at the end of March and into April. 3, maybe 4 more wins, or maybe would be the max for the Flyers as they finish up the season. So we'll get into the positives though about that a little bit, maybe later on. The other night segment, fresh off of our completion of the Flyer prospect pool, we'll continue that tonight with another trifecta as we're starting to ramp it up, man. We got to get some things done. We're going to check in on our friend Paul Skeens as his auction continues, and our card review segment as well. And of course, we're going to start it all off with the day in Philly sports. But before we get into any of that, I want to thank everybody for all your support, and especially those here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network as we continue to make this thing the best network out there. Now, we have 4 shows on this network. We have 2 static shows, and we have 3 post games. So we have 5 shows: 2 static, 2 post games, 3 post games, and a pregame show. So I'm sorry, we have 6 shows, which is not really something that you can get excited about. But that's about to change. We're going to add 2 more shows here very soon, and I'm chomping at the bit to tell you what those shows are, because they're both shows that you're familiar with, and they're both shows that have spread their wings on other places before, and they're coming here, and I'm really excited. And we're also adding new teammates as well. So a lot of great stuff coming, and we're going to start making announcements here very, very soon. I promise you that. But for all those that are here now, me, Sal, Mike, and then someone else that's behind the scenes that we can't talk about yet, I want to thank you for all the hard work you do to provide this network with the best of you. And that's what this is about. So I want everyone to remember that this is not a one-man show by far. I'm just the most recognizable face on this network, but that's about it. There's going to be other people that are going to come here hopefully soon and make their impressions felt and made immediately. So thank you to all the great hard work that's been done here on the It's a Wrap Sports. And if you are not aware of it, and if you haven't been reading the scroll that's been rolling past your face for the last 7 minutes, we are present on every social media platform, I think, out there that has any kind of clout. And please find us on all of them, and like and subscribe and share on all of them, and help us continue to grow this. So, all right. Let's strap it in, strap it on, put your hands and your feet and your head inside the car at all times, and let's go with your day in Philadelphia sports history. On this day in 1997, we got a Sixers point that was monumentous at the time, because I remember watching it live in action when it was happening, and it really kind of set the tone of what the Sixers would be as they were kind of facing a situation. I'm not going to say similar to what they're facing right now, because it's not. They were coming out of a process-like situation, and now we're heading back into one. But on this night in 97, Allen Iverson had his moment. The moment that every young player dreamed of in that era, and that was their opportunity to make Michael Jordan look foolish. And on this night in 97, Iverson did that with the infamous crossover move that had Jordan kind of guessing and stumbling and bumbling and fumbling all over the place, caught on national TV, rewind and rewatched on Sports Center, and then, of course, you can go find it on YouTube right now. But it was AI who was enjoying his Rookie of the Year season that year. Cross Michael Jordan up with that. I mean, listen, Allen Iverson, that crossover was lethal. That crossover changed the game. Every player decided they needed a crossover after that, and they needed to be better than Allen Iverson's, which at that time was, and maybe still to this day, the best ever crossover I've ever seen. I mean, I don't watch basketball nearly as much as I used to. I mean, God knows, like 85%. I'm like down by 85-90% of the basketball that I watch now that I did back then. But that crossover was just a thing of beauty. Once he did the crossover and got Jordan all off balance, he stepped back and he sunk a basket from the top of the key. The Sixers went on to lose the game 108-104, but that was immaterial, because it was the moment that Allen Iverson stamped his arrival on the NBA. When you best the GOAT, man, when you go up against the GOAT and you make him look stupid, especially a high competitive guy like Michael Jordan, which I'm sure has probably never left his mind since that night, that he never likes to be made look like that. But on this night, Allen Iverson made Jordan look foolish. And even though the Sixers lost the game 108-104, it marked the arrival of Allen Iverson and the effect that he would have over the game of basketball for the next 10 to 11 years. So there you go. On this night, 97, your moment in Philadelphia sports history. Allen Iverson crosses up Michael Jordan with the Allen Iverson crossover. And there you go. The moment was brought to you by the It's a Wrap Sports. I actually remember that. And as I said, it's a great clip to go to YouTube and check out and just enjoy. It never gets dull to watch, especially again the GOAT. You know, when you have an opportunity to get up on the GOAT, a young player at the time, Iverson was in his rookie year, on his way to win the Rookie of the Year that year. That might have cemented it right there. But all right, let's head on right into our first topic of the night. And again, it kind of follows on with the show title. Let's bring up our pretty graphic. Yeah, as I said at the top, I am done fighting against the powers that be. I see the error of my ways now, and I want to be part of what we're building here in Philadelphia. So tonight, I am joining the Homer cult, and I want to do more than just join it. I want to help recruit members. As you can see, these are our 3 founding members. It's myself. And again, as far as I know, there's no formalized cult for the Eagle Homers out there. So I'm here to sort of, the 3 of us, I should say, are here to organize it, to put it in structure, to lend some foundation and some infrastructure to it. And these are the 3 driving forces behind the Homer cult for the Philadelphia Eagles. Myself, Howie Roseman, and the Reverend Jim Jones. And we are going to do our best, starting tonight, to bring over as many as we can to join the cult. And it took a lot of doing. It took a lot of financial backing. But for those of you that are familiar with our other venture here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, the other business that we sank $1 million into, Big Al's Excuse Emporium, we've been able to come up with the capital to get the Homer cult off the ground. So brought to you by the people who have brought to you Big Al's Excuse Emporium, we present to you the Eagles Homer cult. And I'm here as one of the spokesmen. So let's get rolling with the Eagle. Well, let's get rolling with the recruitment pitch. So today the Eagles did make a move. A.J. Dillon, former Green Bay Packer running back, has signed a 1-year deal with the Eagles. Dillon, who has not played football since 2023, sustained a very serious neck injury, but has been cleared by allegedly the top specialist in necks in the world or the country, and will be cleared to play in 2025. Provides the Eagles, obviously, the depth that they've lost with Kenny Gainwell leaving to go to Pittsburgh. I still don't think drafting a running back should be off the table for the Eagles this spring, especially if Cam Sketabu is available on day 2 or day 3. I wouldn't even mind picking him. Maybe day 2 is a reach, but day 3 definitely. If he's available when they're picking on the 3rd day, I think you go ahead and you draft a young running back from the Arizona State Sun Devils. But Dillon will provide that veteran presence, that change of pace. I don't know if it's really a change of pace what A.J. Dillon provides. He's probably the same type of running back that Saquon is, but it'll provide a fresher body. You're not going to ask him to carry the football more than 8 to 10 times a game, and that might be a stretch. But it's a very heady signing. It's a very smart signing by Howie Roseman and the Eagles. They had a need at running back, and they went ahead and they filled it. Now, with the fact that he hasn't played since 2023, there's a little bit of a gamble there because he's coming off of a very bad injury, very major injury. So I would expect if the Eagles go out, and I know they'll bring in a bunch of running backs either through UDFA or through the draft or through, just picking up players off the street. So there's going to be a beefy looking running back room to start camp. I would imagine that A.J. Dillon will be part of a battle to win a position on this team. I don't think the Eagles are going to hand it over to him and say, you are the backup, go off and do great things. I think the Eagles will give him an opportunity to compete for that position, but I do expect the Eagles to bring in other running backs to compete against A.J. Dillon in camp for an opportunity to win the backup role. So the Eagles did make that move, and then they also signed Ben Van Sumeren officially today, and they listed him in that signing as a fullback. So no more converted linebacker who has to report in every time. He's probably going to have to go and change his number because he's going to be, if he's listed as a fullback, he's going to be a fullback. And if he changes his number, he doesn't have to report anymore. He can just go in and play that position. So Ben Van Sumeren returns, and A.J. Dillon comes in to sort of, I guess stop the bleeding somewhat a little bit from Eagles Nation about all the loss that we've been experiencing and not any of the gain. Darius Slay today officially signed with the Steelers. 1 year, I believe, $10 million fully guaranteed contract. and things are moving. Things are moving around. So the Eagles, as I said last night on the show, I was probably, and this is part of the reason why I'm joining the Eagles homer cult, is I'm not necessarily against any of the moves that the Eagles have made. Honestly, I'm not against them letting these players go. I'm not against any of the stuff that's happened here. I'm not sitting back and I'm not pounding on the table saying these are bad moves. Some of the moves are head scratchers. Some of the moves don't make much financial sense today, but they probably will tomorrow, next year, and the year after. And that's probably what we're looking at. And I think that the plan, and more importantly for me, and I think for a lot of other Eagle fans that are not homers, we're starting to see what the plan is. Now, again, I go back, and I might get this tattooed on my forehead. I go back to the combine and what Howie said about what this off-season period was going to be. Obviously, it's now going to be heady on internal signings and living on the backs of some of the young players that this team has drafted over the years. We've seen players hit like Jalen Carter. We've seen players hit or kind of hit like Nolan Smith. I'm not going to give Nolan Smith a hit yet. I need to see at least one more year from that. We've seen players with Nakobe Dean hit when he's healthy. We've seen players hit Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. We've seen players hit that how he's drafted. Now, that's a sample size to the players that we're looking at relying on allegedly heading into the season that really haven't had an opportunity to play. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, there was a logjam in front of them, and now they're going to have that opportunity. But isn't part of being a professional athlete or any kind of athlete, part of it is a challenge to kind of be the best at what you do, and regardless of what the odds are, overcome those odds and get the playing time based on merit and effort and showing yourself worthy of that playing time. Are the Eagles just handing over playing time to Brown, who has tackling issues and he's health issues? Handing over playing time to Keely Ringo, who has never really been able to kind of solidify himself in the lineup. Handing over playing time to Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's really not done anything. You know, I mean, are we handing playing time over? Now, again, these players are evaluated in practice, and I'm not in practice. I don't see this stuff on a day-to-day basis. I get that. And there's a lot of evaluations going on every day, and these players are graded every day. So perhaps that's why going into this offseason, that was the plan, because Vic Fangio, the defensive staff, and I'm going to defense here mainly because that's where all the loss is, have said that these players are ready, that these players will have an opportunity and be game ready on game 1 of 2025. Now, the only thing I have a problem with that, and again, it's fine. There's 2 things I got issues with that. We're relying on Howie Roseman, who is not the best drafter in the world, and has hit. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he has not hit. He has hit on a few picks, but those picks that he's hit on were to a certain extent no-brainers. Jalen Carter was a top 3-5 prospect. Nolan Smith was maybe more of a second rounder, but we took him late in the first. And yeah, I'm not even giving the hit to Nolan Smith yet. But Quinyon Mitchell was a first-round prospect. Cooper DeJean was, in some people's books, a first-round prospect, definitely a second-round guy. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not drafted well over the last few years, but the players that have hit were no-brainers to me. Were the players that were there that from pro-ready programs that, were ready for this opportunity. Players like Ringo and Brown and Trotter and Jalix Hunt, who did show some promise at the end of last season, players like that are not coming from pro programs or pro-ready programs, and they were a reach when they got them. They took them late in 3rd rounds, 4th rounds, 5th rounds, etc. And now we're relying on Howie Roseman made the right decisions there. Now, Howie's got a better track record in the later rounds than he does in the earlier rounds, and that's weird too. Maybe it's all come together for him. Maybe it has. So if that's the plan, and it's looking every day like it is the plan, that the plan is going to be relying on the draft picks, relying on some draft success, I'm okay with that, because that's how you got to do it. And that's how you build sustainable winning. And I'm going to get to the word sustainable here in a second. But that's how you build sustainable winning. You build it through the draft. And I've been head on about complaining that that's one of Howie's weaknesses, that he doesn't know how to do that, and that we're consistently tearing down the team year after year after year 25, 23 free agents every season, essentially remaking the team every season. But when you start hitting on draft picks, you don't have to do that. But on periods like this in free agency, when they're quiet and they're sitting back, it frustrates people. And when they're experiencing the loss that they're experiencing. Now, I would need someone that knows how to balance a cap to come on here and talk to me about what the cap implications were to the Eagles and what they could have done if they brought back all the players that they've let go. Could they have potentially have done that? Probably not, based on the fact that players want to get paid. But it's an interesting point. It's an interesting direction, but it's a direction, as I say, Howie tried to warn us about. Howie tried to warn you about it about 2 weeks ago at the Combine, that this was going to be untraditional. So, Big Al checking in. Now, the Eagles are doing what they are supposed. The thing is, the Eagles are doing what they are supposed to do. What is that, Al? What are they doing? Are they cutting costs? I don't understand that comment. The thing is, the Eagles are doing what they're supposed to do. What is that? What are they supposed to do? Isn't that a subjective point? What are they supposed to do? Supposed to win, right? What the hell are you talking about? Supposed to do? Howie's track record overall the last 3 years has been significantly better. Yeah, I know it has. But again, with the no-brainers. It has. But with the no-brainers, we haven't seen Howie. And I will dedicate a show here very soon about the draft, of course, and Howie Roseman's history, because trust me, I'm keeping track of that and all that. But the early picks he has, the no-brainers he has. And I know in the past when he couldn't figure out the no-brainers, he was getting good hits on the back end. And Jordan Mailata, 6th-round pick, right? I mean, it's worked out. Ajomo, I mean, that was a good pick, really, for the value. Tanner McKee was a good pick at that value. Who else was down there in the bottom that he cultivated? I mean, he's made some good back-end picks, but now we're asking for a bunch of them to step into a role of starter on the defending Super Bowl champions. That's a lot to ask. And I'm not saying that it's not something that they can't do. It's a lot to ask for them. Now, there's going to be depth behind them. There's going to be probably veteran depth, Class C free agent type guys that they can get cheap. They're going to come in here and kind of fill in. But is this the move also that a defending Super Bowl champion needs to do? Is to go out and throw the dice against the wall and say, I want to play all my rookies, and we're going to go out and defend the title that way. Defensively speaking, because we're back to that same point that we were around a year ago. Remember that? It was never about the offense. Everyone was locked in. The offense is going to be elite, all-world. It's going to score 48 to 50 points a game. Of course, they didn't do that, but the defense was the question heading into 2024. We've come full circle again, even though the defense was the big story in 2024. Some people will say it was the offensive line. It was. But I still think if you take away the defensive contributions in 2024, if you take that away, they don't win the Super Bowl, hands down. Honestly, you don't force 23 friggin' turnovers from week 10 to the Super Bowl and not have that impact your team positively. You don't. And heavily impact them positively. So we're going to go back right around where we started in 2024, and we're going to have questions about the defense heading into 2025. We're not going to talk much about the offense unless you want to discuss the potential of Grant Calcaterra being your starting tight end. Right? We're not going to discuss much about the offense because the offense is going to be pretty much intact unless they pull the rope-a-dope and trade A.J. Brown, which I told you if they do, then they've obviously identified a culture problem with A.J. Brown and CJ, GJ, BJ, GJ, GJ. But for the most part, the offense will be intact. It's going to be the question about the defense again. And does Howie have the ability to catch lightning in the bottle another year in a row? Because he caught it last year. Defense came out of nowhere. Players came out of nowhere. Does Zach Bond play like he did this year? Does Zach Bond benefit, or does it hurt Zach Bond to have a defensive line that's missing Brandon Graham, Milton Williams, and Josh Sweat? How does Zach Bond respond to that? How does Zach Bond respond to not playing next to Nakobe Dean for at least maybe the first month or 6 weeks of the season? Are we leaving him out on an island? Is the defense going to have to go through growing pains again through the first month, 6 weeks of the season, as they try to find their way? Are they going to send me back up here on my mountain, ramming my staff against the ground, saying, "Look at me, I was right"? Is this the route a defending Super Bowl champion needs to go? Did I already do this one? Howie's track record over the last 3 years has been significantly better. Did I go? I already said that one. Yeah, because I'm on that show. Yeah, you'll be on a show when I tell you you're on a show. Hunt is a good pick. Yeah, you played well towards the end of the season. He picked it up towards the end of the season. Well, he got his opportunity and he ran with it, I'll say. For the last 3 years, his first 3 rounds have been making contributions. His last 3 years, his first 3 rounds have been making. All right, Al, you're going to force me to do this, and I'm going to bring it up. I didn't want to get into draft tonight, but, it's been a while, though, since I ragged on Howie Roseman and his drafting ability, because it's actually gotten better, as Al has said. But let's talk about what Al has said. So his first 3 rounds, let's look at the first 3 rounds in 2024. All right, we got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and you got Jalix Hunt. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here on the cusp or on the surface. This looks like to be a home run, a grand slam on Game 7 of the World Series. I ain't going to sit here and say that, right? But can Jalix Hunt's not going to have Josh Sweat. He's not going to have Milton Williams. And he's not going to have Brandon Graham. Does Jalix Hunt in that capacity? His top 3 picks in 2020, or his first 3 round picks in 2023, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Tyler Steen, and Sidney Brown. I don't know. I don't think you can say Tyler Steen and Sidney Brown have been significantly better picks. Nolan Smith turned it around last year, and Jalen Carter is on his way to being a Hall of Famer. I'll give you that. So I'm going to give you 1 there, Al. I'm going to give you 1 out of those players that are good. 2022, Jordan Davis, Cam Jurgens, and the Kobe Dean are your first, second, and third round picks. Jordan Davis is a bust as a 13th overall. 13th overall pick in the draft. He's a bust. Let's get that straight first and foremost. I'm not saying he won't be a contributor, but he's a bust. When you pick the player at 13th overall and he's contributed the way Jordan Davis has. So I'm not giving you that. Cam Jurgens obviously is a home run. And the Kobe Dean, if he can freaking stay on the field, looks like he's going to be an all-pro. But part of his makeup as a player is to stay on the field. So I am going to tell you that the numbers tell something different than what Big Al is peddling. All right? Big Al is peddling something that the numbers say there's something different. And again, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the Stat Pack and the MattyB draft trackers, because I'm just letting you know what the records are saying. So I disagree with Al's sentiment that in the last 3 years, his first 3 rounds have been making contributions. They have probably been making contributions more than the last 3 years worth of picks have been made. I'll give you that. But no. Zach Bond was nobody until we got him on this team. The Eagles' development has been exceptional. Again, Al, you're not going to get a fight from me, but does Zach Bond continue to play at that level minus his buddies? Minus his buddies and insert a bunch of rookies and draft picks. Does Zach Bond continue to play better at that level? We've always said that your pass rush dictates your secondary. If you don't have a good pass rush or a front 4, you could have Ronnie Lott, what's his face, Eric Allen, Sheldon Brown. You can have the all-world cornerbacks and safeties back there, and it's not going to matter much if you can't get pressure on your quarterback. So does that line up here? If Zach Bond is in the linebacker position, is he going to suffer without Josh Sweat? Is he going to suffer without Milton Williams? Is he going to suffer without Brandon Graham? We forgot about Brandon Graham. I didn't know he tore his tricep again in the Super Bowl. I didn't know that. Has that been confirmed? I would imagine he hasn't announced it yet, but Brandon Graham's got to retire, right? I mean, does anybody that actually thinks he's coming back? But can Zach Bond be that level under that circumstance? Maybe he can. I said it last night, Al, and I don't know if you heard the show. Are we now in a position on this team that we're smelling ourselves and the coaches are smelling themselves, and now it's about scheme, not player? Because we've done that before and it hasn't worked. And I don't think it ever works sustainable. And again, I said that word sustainable one more time. I want to say it again, and there's a reason why I'm using that word quite a bit. So is that sustainable? I said it again. I'm going to say it one more time after that. There are three phases of a football team: offense, defense, and special teams. As sometimes all three phases don't click, and maybe two of the three click. How come the Eagles defense getting those 20 turnovers gets no credit for that, and that the Eagles defense's fault those other teams that couldn't hold on to the fumble or pick? Geez, Mike, how come the Eagles defense doesn't get those 20 turnovers? How come the Eagles defense getting those 20 turnovers gets no credit for that, and it's not the Eagles defense fault those other teams couldn't hold on? I think I understand what you're saying, and I think I agree with you. And I have been on the side of they haven't 20. Get it right. It was 23. Okay, first off, I've been rallied on that whole thing from the beginning. It was overlooked when it was happening, and it was overlooked after the Super Bowl. It was overlooked all. You kept hearing about Jalen Hurts this, Saquon Barkley that, rightfully so in Saquon Barkley's case, but you kept on hearing about other phases and aspects of this team, but nobody was really paying attention to the fact that heading into week 9 of the 2024 Eagles season, defense had forced 7 turnovers. 7. I have 7 right there. 7 turnovers heading into week 9. From week 10 through the Super Bowl, they forced 23. Are you kidding me? They forced 23 turnovers. And I've explored the possibility of you don't get 23 turnovers by luck, Mike, in my opinion. You get it by good tackling fundamentals. You get it by swiping at the ball. I mean, the snow helped in the Rams playoff game. I'll give you that. But you get it with technique. You get it through emphasis. I'm totally agreeing with you there. So you're right. And that was a huge aspect of why the Eagles won in 2024. Again, we're going to go back to the start of this, the offense. The offense was all-world, allegedly, but they weren't because Jalen Hurts is not an all-world quarterback. He's a game manager. He couldn't be all-world or elite as a quarterback, and he couldn't get that offense rolling in all cylinders. Hence why they went to a run-heavy attack in week 5. So if you take away the defense's ability to flip the field for the offense, do the Eagles win the Super Bowl? I say they don't. And it's not, I'm not going to say, I don't know. No, I say they don't. Just like I say, if you take away Saquon Barkley's contributions to this team, they don't win a Super Bowl. You take away Jalen Hurts' contributions to this team, well, I don't know. They might still win. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Homers don't want to talk about that. Homers don't see it that way. Nobody gives the defense's contribution its due. And I don't know if this is the route you go for a defending Super Bowl champion. I don't know. And again, you can't dictate how the salary cap's going to bite you on the ass. You can't dictate when these players are going to hit free agency versus when you're going to win Super Bowls. You can't line that up. I understand that. But is this the best way? And as I'm going through my recruitment tour tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are just joining, I just want to remind you that tonight on the program, I have decided to jump ship. I am now part of the Eagles Homer cult. Along with my co-founders, Howie Roseman and Jim Jones, we are out here tonight, and we are peddling our wares to have you join the cult. Now, we offer a lot of things for you. We offer a $300,000 gift certificate to Big Al's Excuse Emporium, servicing all of your reality independent issues that you have with the Philadelphia sports teams. Also, new for 2025, in support of the Eagles Homer cult, Big Al's Excuse Emporium will now carry 23 flavors of Kool-Aid. So you can pick your choice of Kool-Aid at your pace and at your time so that you can be as comfortable as you can be. So don't forget, that's the Eagles Homer cult, sponsored by Big Al's Excuse Emporium. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. I agree with you, Michael. The defense does not get as much love as it needs to get as part of the end result of the Super Bowl. Who won the Super Bowl? Who won the Super Bowl? I know we talk about Jalen Hurts being Super Bowl MVP. I know there's people out there that actually believe that, but who won the Super Bowl? And I know the Eagles did, but what part of the Eagles? If the defense doesn't come out there and play the way they did, do the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Does the offense win that game for the defense? No. No, because what's his face? Saquon was pinned down. Yeah, Jalen made some nice throws. He made 2 of them, 2 or 3. But could they sustain a win if the defense does not do what they did to Pat Mahomes? If that defense does not do what they did to Pat Mahomes, do the Eagles win the Super Bowl? The answer is no. And so we've gutted that defense. Now, it could be the right move. It's March. I don't know. But it's risky. It's risky turning over your defending Super Bowl championship to a bunch of rookies and draft prospects. It's very risky. And it could hurt Howie, because I'm going to go back to what I said about sustainability. With all the accolades on the Howie Roseman trophy case these days, and they are starting to grow, I will give you that. 2 Super Bowl trophies, and NFC, or 2 conference, or 3 conference trophies, 2 Super Bowl trophies. You know, Executive of the Year, how many times has he won it? Twice, 3 times, whatever it is. He's getting trophies in that case, and I'll give him that. But what he has not done all throughout his career is had sustainable winning. And what I mean by that is Super Bowls. We won Super Bowl and then we won one 7 years later. Is that sustained winning? And don't give me we've won division titles and gotten to the playoffs. That's not winning, goddammit. That's qualifying. Winning is championships. He has not been able to sustain. It's been a bunch of this with him. Up and down. It's been like Wildwood, low tide, man, on Memorial Day weekend back in 1996. Yeah. That's what it's been like. It's been a lot of this up and down. So the one thing that Howie has not proven yet is his ability to win, to be a sustained winner. And now he has an opportunity heading into this season with the Super Bowl championship to run it back and start the Eagle dynasty. And is this the right plan for that? I say it is, because I, as I told you, am part of the Eagles Homer cult now. And you will obey. You will obey. Well, all that said, Brandon Graham was called a bust earlier. Yeah, absolutely. And he worked out to be pretty damn good. But I'm not necessarily calling anybody. Okay. I am calling Jordan Davis a bust. Absolutely. But Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham, I don't know. You look at them side by side, they don't necessarily grade out to be the same type of player. I don't know if that's the comp you're making, but Jordan Davis is a bust. And again, let's just accept that right now, that he's a bust. Do I hear anything to the contrary? For a first-round pick selected at 13th overall, he has not lived up to that billing. And this has been 3 years now. He got drafted, 24, 23. He was drafted in 22. He's had 3 full seasons in the league. And it's okay to make a grade on him now. I'm not saying he doesn't have a place here or he doesn't deserve to play, but at first overall, 13 or first round, 13th overall, he was a bust. You think you would get more out of that, and you just haven't. The Eagles have 8 picks in the first 4 rounds. Are you sure about that? I thought they had first, second. I thought they had 4 picks in the first 4 rounds. Michael, what are you looking at, man? Am I looking at the right thing? Let me bring that up. I don't know. I haven't. You know what the Flyers draft? Let's look at that. Eagles draft. All right, let's look at that, man. Let's look at 2025. I must have missed that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Michael, they got 4 picks in the first 4 rounds. They got 1 first, 1 second, 1 third, and 1 fourth. All right, Michael, I don't know what you're looking at, man. Now, next year, they're going to have a bunch of picks from comp picks, but they have 4 picks in the first 4 rounds. They got a 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4. The Flyers have 7 picks in the first 2 rounds. Maybe you got the teams confused a little bit. The Eagles' toughest game in the playoffs was the Rams. The Eagles smoked the Chiefs, and it was never close in the Super Bowl. What else did you want from them to do? Again, the Eagles smoked the Chiefs. Again, listen, I am not disagreeing with you, but I'm telling you that they smoked the Rams, or they didn't smoke the Rams. Listen, I think the snow helped them win that game against the Rams. The turnover, the Bradford or the Stafford turnover, and then the Eckler turnover were huge in that game. And that might have been snow related. I don't know. But the offense didn't go down beating any. Again, I'm talking about the contributions from the offense versus the defense. I'm not telling you that the Eagles didn't deserve the win because they're all part of the same team. I'm telling you, if you take away the contributions of the defense versus the contributions of Jalen Hurts, which one could you live without and still win a Super Bowl in 2024? It would have been the Jalen Hurts' contributions because they weren't elite. They were game managing slightly above average. Again, I'm not questioning the manner in which they won football games. I am not questioning the manner in which they went out and won a Super Bowl. They did. I am not going to sit here and tell you that the championship is tainted in any certain way, but I am telling you that if you look at these games, if you go ahead and sit back down and watch the season again, you're going to see the biggest changes came through Saquon Barkley and the defense as the season rolled on. Heading into the bye week, the Eagles had the 28th ranked defense in the NFL. At the end of the season, they were up 1. Heading into week 9, they had forced 7 turnovers. They forced 23 the rest of the way. There's something to that. There's something to that. And don't tell me that didn't significantly affect the team's destiny and the team's outcome. So don't get it twisted, Michael. I'm not sitting here telling you you're wrong, and I am not questioning the manner in which the Eagles won. I'm just telling you this offseason plan of dismantling the defense. Is that what a Super Bowl champion should be doing, especially as much as this team relied upon the defense to win football games last year? Because they did. And it totally is contradictory to how they entered the season last year. It was the offense that was the lock. It was the defense that was the question. And it completely flipped scripts, if you ask me. Well, the Chiefs didn't look like they wanted to win or play. They zeroed in on Saquon, and it worked. But again, the Eagles smoked the Chiefs. Michael, they absolutely did. They absolutely smoked the Chiefs. The Eagles have not till next year, Michael. They don't have comp picks till next year. Those picks kick in next year. All the picks from the draft picks or the players that they've lost this year, those picks won't kick in till next year. And there'll be a bunch of fifths, probably. Now, I don't know if they're going to get more. I don't think, because the NFL already announced the list of comp picks and who got them, and the Eagles weren't on that list. So they're not getting any additional draft picks this year, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, they're not. But anyway, the Homer Colts, I'm here. And I'm here to bring you in. So, for those of you that are still living with that and Howie we trust, don't question anything, shut your mouth, keep your head down, and keep coloring, I'm here. I'm here for you. I want to be your liaison over to the other side, right? I want to be that buffer zone as you indoctrinate yourself into the land of the mindless. Or, you know what, if you want to stay on the other side, that's okay, I guess, because we need rational thinking Eagles fans as well. And I'm not going to sit here also and tell you that, and again, I think I've been very positive about all this. I've not bashed these trades or these moves. I've not necessarily been negative about any of the things that have happened to the Eagles. I understand why they had to make these moves. I understand that you can only kick the can down the road so far before you have to start paying the piper. I get that. And I understand that it's just bad luck and bad timing that it comes in the, of the midst of a potential Super Bowl defense. I get that. But is this the right thing for Howie and the Eagles to be doing? Is this the right plan? To cast off a lot of veterans, a lot of all-pro talent, and rely on a bunch of draft picks that, yes, Howie Roseman has been significantly better in drafting. But I maintain he's been significantly better drafting the no-brainers. The players that at 10 or 11 or 12 or 13, that, no duh, pick them. But now we're going to be relying, because those players are already playing. Now we're going to be relying on the players that were selected later in rounds and later in picks, and we're going to turn it over to them. Now, Howie's had more success with those types of players throughout his career here than he has with the upper half. Now, is that trend going to continue on in 2025? We'll wait and we'll see. But that's really the end of it for me with this. I do understand there's a couple different sides of this. There's the, come on, Howie, start signing players. There's the in Howie we trust blind sheep, and then there's the I guess my side. I guess my side. But it is March, and we don't have a football game for another April, May, June, July, August. Another 6 months is the first football game. So there's no real hurry as we begin to put this thing together. So, but the Eagles did re-sign Ben Van Sumer in tonight and listed him as a fullback. So that's apparently what his position will be. Number change coming from Mr. Van Sumeren, and Darius Slay officially signed a 1-year deal for $10 million with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I almost said Pirates. As our free agency day one is officially underway, there's really no thunder left for day one, is there? I mean, it's like day 3. But there you go. There is my Homer Colt rant for the night. And I beg you to join. We need the membership. So please come find me. I know there's a lot of you out there. So please come look me up, man. You know where to find me. All right. Again, let me remind everybody that on this network, the It's a Wrap Sports Network, you can follow us at all major social media outlets. As you can see the scroll running below me, go ahead and over there and like, find, and subscribe. And just a little plug on some future endeavors here on the program. Baseball season is kicking up, and on March 23rd, Sunday, March 23rd at 11 a.m., the Fightins Final. That's right, man. The Fightins Final back for season 4. We'll present you the 2025 Philly season preview show. Make sure you're back here checking that out, as we're going to get you going, man, for 2025, as we are literally, I think, less than a week away? Yeah, we're less than a week away from the start of the baseball season, as the Cubs and Dodgers will play in Tokyo on March 18th and 19th, then return back to spring training, and everybody starts the season at the end of the month. So the season in its essence is starting next week in Tokyo. So we're here. We've arrived. It's baseball time again, but we're going to have you covered for the Fightins Final all season long, as we have for the last 3 years, getting ready for season 4. You'll have to tune in to find out who your Fightins Final host will be, who the navigators of 2025 will be. So make sure you tune in Sunday, March 23rd at 11 a.m. And also, for all you Flyers fans, if there's any of you left out there, which I know there is, and we're going to get into the Flyers here tomorrow night. Mike will have you for the Lightning game, as the Flyers are starting a portion of their schedule that is not a portion of the schedule that you want to take a team that's lost 5 in a row and has seemingly quit into. So, but tomorrow night starts. So, the Flyers Lightning. Mike has you on the Clear the Ice program. And again, remind you that the programming note with Clear the Ice, we will cease and desist all Clear the Ice activities on March 31st, as we will focus and concentrate heavily on the Phillies that year, or starting at that point. So that's the latest on our programming. And for those of you that are still interested in the Paul Skeens sweepstakes, that's right, the holy grail of baseball cards, it is currently still on auction over at the Fanatic auction site. And it is currently still sitting at $550,000, as that auction will run till March 20th. So if you're looking to pick up that Paul Skeens baseball card, this one right here, the 1/1 rookie debut patch auto, head over to the Fanatic auction site and throw down $550,001, and maybe it'll be yours. As I'm sure that the auctioning will get hot again right at the end, as people will try to outbid each other by a dime. But that's the latest on Mr. Skeens. Flyers stuff. I tell you what, let's do the of the night segment. I really don't have much to say about the Flyers anymore that I haven't already said. I mean, I went on a pretty good breakdown of them after the trade deadline, but let's hit our of the night segment, and then I'll see if the spirit moves me to talk about the Flyers. Yeah, this is the other night segment. This is the portion of the program where we take a college future potential MLB draft pick, a future NHL draft pick, a Flyers spotlight player, which we won't do. So the Flyers we're done with. We won't be spotlighting any Flyers players till next fall or late next summer. And we finished the Flyers prospects last night, so we're not doing Flyers prospects unless they acquire one through a waiver pickup from here at the end of the season. So we're done with the Flyers prospects. So it's exclusively baseball and hockey in terms of the NHL draft, MLB draft, and Philly spotlight players. And then a little bit later on, probably about this time next month, we're going to turn our attention to Phillies prospects as well, as I'm waiting for them to kind of settle into where they're going to be in the minor leagues and then start looking at them. But let's get it going tonight with your Philly spotlight player of the night, because we're getting close to the season and I got to get these out of the way. Like 7 more left. I don't know how that happened, but got like 7 more left. And let's start tonight with Jose Ruiz, the right-handed relief pitcher. 52 games appeared last year for the Phillies, 3.71 ERA, 52 strikeouts, 17 walks, and 1 save. Jose Ruiz is the typical, as you can see by his little slash line there. Rob Thompson liked to use this guy all over the damn place. I mean, he would come in and do some long relief, middle relief, setup work, and also he would close from time to time. So Jose Ruiz is a product of the Rob Thompson I don't have a roll bullpen. And I don't know. Again, it's hard for me to get a finger on the bullpen. It's been hard for me to get a finger on the bullpen since Rob Thompson's been here because of how he uses it. Jose Ruiz is not a closer. I mean, he I think he can work in any aspect of the bullpen, with maybe the exception of the back end. But I think he's more capable of being your long reliever. And I could maybe 5th inning. I'm not going to use Ruiz past the 5th inning personally. But he is used in all different aspects of the Phillies game, hence the 3.71 ERA, because there's some situations where he's probably not equipped to deal with, and he was put in there. So Jose Ruiz, a product of the Rob Thompson no-roll bullpen. And I take that for what it is. Take that for what that's worth. I don't know how you look at that. I don't know how you how do you gauge a pitcher like that? I think he's a quality arm. He kind of came out of nowhere, established himself, and was able to be fluid around, rotating around roles in that bullpen. And he shows that he can do it. But again, it goes back to that no-roll bullpen and not having a pitcher be able to kind of focus in on what the responsibility would be night after night. And if they do that, I think Ruiz settles in as a long reliever and a potential middle reliever, but not, and I guess you can't really call him middle reliever anybody that pitches before the 5th inning anyway. So I guess long reliever is where I would put him. Maybe if some situations dictated it, I'd put him in the 5th inning, but I would not go any higher than that with Ruiz. But there you go. And he's a pivotal piece of that bullpen. He's a pivotal piece of the Phillies pitching staff this year as we get ready for the season to begin. So there is your Philly spotlight player of the night, Jose Ruiz. Let's head over now to our NHL draft, as we're going to get back into that. Tonight's draft prospect, Emile Goutet, the left wing for the Chicoutimi of the QMJHL. Let's try to say that thing fast 10 times. He's the left wing, 6'1", 174 pounds. He's not a great skater. So when you start off a player's bio with he's not a great skater, I'm just going to flip on to the next one. But with knees that can knock and splay, that's terrible. But I think he's a little more competitive than he has gotten credit for in conversations I've had with folks. Now, this is actually me talking to people. Though he certainly got work to do to round out his game, and he does have some big game pedigree at the young age. So this is a project guy. He plays in major junior Canadian hockey, so he plays in a pro-ready program, but he's probably like a 6th round, 5th round, 7th round reach pick, developmental pick. Don't know if the Flyers have time for a player like this. I know that he's on here, and he's actually is profiled as a 1st round projected talent. You're going to see the majority of players that we've talked about here have been projected as 1st round talent. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be, but that's how they were projected. So, but this kid to me screams project development, years away from even competing in the NHL. But there you go. Emile Goutet. I guess that's how you say it. Now let's take us to the MLB draft. We're drafting it now, baby. Tonight's draft prospect is Kason Cunningham, a shortstop from Johnson High School in Texas, a slightly bigger and lefty swinging version of Jet Williams, a Texas prep shortstop who went 14th overall in the Mets to the Mets in 2022. Cunningham is a better pure hitter at the same stage and perhaps the best in the 2025 prep class. He led Team USA with a .417 average in an 18 and under World Cup qualifier in Panama last summer. Cunningham has exceptional barrel control and rarely swings and misses. He has a mature approach covers the entire strike zone, and utilizes the entire field. Though he's not physical, his bat speed and ability to repeatedly barrel up balls should allow him to get 15 and 25 homers per season. Cunningham has plus speed and plays with a lot of energy on the bases and on the field. He has good actions and good actions and solid 2+ arm strength at shortstop, giving him a good chance to remain at the position. He'll be 19 on draft day. And I don't know what that says. So I got the scroll going. Let me take that out. And eligible as a sophomore in 2027 if he attends Texas. So here's a classic situation of a kid who definitely has top 10 pedigree, but who could potentially forego that and go to college and play a year to see if he can work on his draft stock to go up Now, National Commit Day has already passed. And I have to go back and look. I don't know if he committed or not. But even if he commits, they always dangle that contract in front of them and they could potentially take it. So I don't know. And players that do commit to college programs can spend their college years as property of a team. They can. They're college eligible years. So if you were looking to take him, I don't know if it hurts his draft stock if he did commit, and I don't know if it hurts his draft stock if he wants to go to college. But he's probably top 10 right now in this draft without any of that sort of rigmarole. He's definitely one of the top shortstop prospects in the country right now, and I would not be surprised to see him go maybe top 5, as a lot of teams would be looking at trying to barrel him up, so to speak. But again, it's probably going to hinge a lot on what he decides to do with college. But there you have it, Kason Cunningham, your MLB 2025 draft prospect of the night. And that's it. We're about to doing trifectas here on the final word with our of the night segment. So before I segue to our final segment, let's plug a couple more things. We mentioned the Fighting's final Phillies season preview. Well, that's a prelude to the opening of the Phillies season here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, Thursday, March 27th in Washington against the Nationals. Me and Sal will have you on post-game activity as we, of course, man up the first game of the year as a duo. Mike will have you on Saturday, and I will finish you up on Sunday for the National Series. So there's your first series of the Fighting's final for 2025, and your hosts. We're all getting a crack at it. I guess I'm revealing at least three of the Fighting's final staff for this year. But there's more, and I'm not going to reveal who they are. So make sure you're tuned in and coming on the ride with us again in 2025. It should be fun. And every Monday on 7, Salji and the Wraparound Show will be here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. No show this week, though, for Sal, as he's got some personal things to take care of. So no show on Monday for Sal, but that's okay. Maybe I'll have Big Al do it. Hey, Al, you want to do the wraparound on Monday at 7? Maybe I'll have him do it. Let's see if Al wants to do it. Al, you listening out there, man? You want to do it? But there you go. So let's take us to the final segment of the night. MattyB's card review.
Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. What? Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad.
Yep. MattyB's card review segment. This is the part of the show where we take one of my sports cards, kind of kick it around, have some fun with it, talk about all kinds of value the card may or may not have, and just talk about some fun. We went back to baseball last night after transitioning out to hockey for one night, but we did the Dale Murphy 87 tops. Tonight, we are back in baseball with the 2024 Jonathan Orlanis rookie card with the Texas Rangers. Let me put this thing up here for you. Now, Orlanis is not someone you're gonna corner the market with, right? As you can see, he's definitely sort of a developing player down there with the Rangers. Debuted in August of 2003 or 23. Hasn't hit a home run yet and only has 3 RBIs, as he has a 205 batting average. So definitely still trying to figure himself out. He was actually sent back to AAA last year. But based on his 2023 numbers, that's why he got the rookie card for 2024. So I don't know if he pans out or doesn't pan out. But this card actually, even with the situation with the player, is still a $4 card. I saw it, as a PSA 10. It's a $4 card. It's got the cool Texas Ranger. I don't know if that's their City Connect in 2023 or their alternate uniforms in 2023. But I like the uniform. It's the only card that the Texas Rangers, as their team set, has in the 2024 tops with that uniform. And I think, to me, that makes it a pretty attractive looking card. And it's a rookie card, so you never, ever, ever discard rookie cards until you can evaluate fully their career. So not the greatest card, as I said. You're not going to set the world on fire with him. It was valuable. It was a lot more valuable heading into 2024 than it is now. But there you go. Jonathan Orleanis, of the Texas Rangers, who is currently back in AAA, but qualified to have his rookie card as part of the 2024 tops because he played in 2023. So there you go. Again, he's not going to set the world on fire. He's not. Not all of them do. But there you have the card of the night segment. Some of the cards are good ones. Some of them are, not so much. But that's going to take me to the end and remind everybody. I want to thank everybody, actually. That was a good show tonight. We are scheduled to be back tomorrow night. It'll be our first full week that we've done here in a few weeks, but we're looking to do that. I don't think I'm not going to be here, but tomorrow night we'll also be here for the it'll be me, and then following me it'll be Clear the Ice, Flyers, Lightning. So a decent night on the network as our fledgling network is growing, and so make sure you're tuned back in here for all that goodness. And tonight we talked your day in Philadelphia sports history was the night that Allen Iverson crossed over Michael Jordan on that infamous play in Allen Iverson's rookie season. Rival at the NBA. We also went into a big recruitment pitch for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Homer cult, not club. I want to be very clear about that. It's a cult because it takes a special person to be a Homer in this town. It really does. And I was actually recruiting for it because I am now part of the Homer cult. Of course, I am not. I'm just kidding. I got to make sure that I say I'm just kidding with satire because it's recently got me in trouble when I say that I don't mean what anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but I'm just kidding. I don't advocate the cult. And of course I'm completely on the opposite side of that, but we talked in length about how, again, I am not necessarily against some of the moves that the Eagles have made in the offseason. I understand why they've made them, and I'm on board for why they've made them, but are they the right moves is the question here. Are they the right moves? Al said they're doing what they're supposed to do. I did not understand at the time, but now I think I get it. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing what they had to do in order to get the cap worked, to get everybody paid that they needed to get paid internally, and to field the team. But is that the best plan for the defending Super Bowl champions? Is relying on a bunch of lower round draft picks over the last 3 seasons to finally take that step they haven't been able to take so far, but to take that step to not only full-time starters, but Super Bowl winning caliber starting players? Is that the right plan? And we'll only be able to find that out in time. So talked in length about that. We checked in on Mr. Paul Skeens. No change there. We did our of the night segment and our card review, and that will do it. And I am done. I am going to be heading to my bed as I lay down for the night. So for those of you out there, I hope you have a great rest of your night. And I also hope that you have an even better tomorrow. We will talk again tomorrow. Good night.